Welcome back to another episode of Becoming Me Again, The Journey, where we dive into deep topics that matter. I'm your lovely, wonderful, awesome host, Cheyenne, and today we're going to talk about a subject that I'm actually really excited about. It's one that many of us can relate to, accepting ourselves and knowing our worth. This is something that everyone can benefit from, no matter what stage of life they're in. So, let's get deep. A lot of us put on masks when we step out into the world. It's easy to get caught up portraying a version of ourselves that we think others want to see. Whether it's that confident persona we put on or the insecurities we try to hide, we often wear a mask when we interact with the world. We wear these false egos and false confidences, trying to fit in to predefined roles or societal expectations. It can be exhausting to constantly pretend to be someone we're not. But the truth is, accepting ourselves can be incredibly challenging. We all have our own unique qualities, strengths, and weaknesses that make us who we are. However, when we struggle to accept ourselves for who we truly are, it can lead to dangerous insecurities. Whenever you're unsure of your own value, you are insecure. These insecurities can cloud our judgment and make us question our own worth. Instead of recognizing our own value, we become fixated on seeking acceptance from others. It's a toxic path, one that can leave us feeling empty and unfulfilled. So let me be real with you. And I want to talk about my struggles and my insecurities, because working on myself starts with calling myself out. And what better way to do that than on a podcast, right? I have always struggled with accepting myself from childhood. I was always the tallest in the room, and I absolutely hated that. And I've also struggled with my weight since becoming a teen. And it's always made me feel so self-conscious. Of course, like many of us do, I dealt with bullying all my childhood to teen life. And as a child, if you don't heal from these things that can seem so minute at the moment, but when you become an adult, they stay with you. And sometimes you may not even recognize it, but it's in the little things that you do, the clothes you might not wear, the events you may not go to, the friends you don't make because you feel like you don't belong, or you feel like certain clothes aren't meant for you. And all of this doubt in yourself and lack of self-confidence could have actually stemmed from that childhood trauma that you never healed from. And sometimes you think, that's just how I am. That's just me. But deep down inside, you're actually craving to experience different things, but you don't feel like you deserve to. But the truth is, there is no one or no thing that can make you feel truly accepted. Why? Because acceptance starts from within. It's about recognizing that we are imperfect, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, it's what makes us human. And not only does it make us human, it also makes us unique. If everyone was so-called perfect, that means we would all be the same. And I don't know about you, but I kind of live for my own individuality. 'Cause I'm pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. When we acknowledge our flaws and vulnerability, we begin to embrace our authentic selves. It's important to remember that no one is perfect, and striving for perfection only sets up for disappointment. So here's the burning question. How do we begin accepting ourselves and rediscovering our self-worth? Well, it's a journey. Like I've mentioned before, this entire podcast is about the journey, and I'm still on it. And in this journey, it's one that requires self-reflection, compassion, and a healthy, gigantic, mega, supersized dose of self-love. I want to really help you to navigate this and figure all of this out together. So, let's explore some strategies that can help us on this path. First and foremost, it's crucial to practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a close friend. Understand that making mistakes is a part of life, and it doesn't devalue you. Embrace your imperfections and learn to grow from them. Now, I don't say this loosely because it all sounds concise and cute, but actually, practicing self-compassion is harder than it sounds. Have you ever been in a position where someone really hurt you and you try to have understanding for their actions and you empathize with them so you can be compassionate towards them, even though they're the ones who hurt you, but you care about them and you value the relationship you have with them or the role they play in your life, so you're willing to go the extra mile for them. I've done that in so many points in my life, probably too much. But we do this because we value these people so much, and their worth in our lives is so high. So why can't we recognize that about ourselves? Have you ever thought about this? You should mean so much to yourself because without you, there would be no you. I hope that wasn't too confusing, but the point is, you need you. And being kind to yourself is needed, especially in a world where there's a lot of unkindness going around. Being imperfect doesn't make you less valuable. Actually, I think it makes you a bit more interesting. Another step in accepting ourselves is letting go of comparison. We live in a world of constant social comparison, fueled by social media and societal pressures. Now let me tell you all about this social media. Let's have a little story time. So last year, everything that could go wrong did go wrong for me. And I went from having my entire life figured out to having to start back from scratch. And I'm talking about in every aspect, career-wise, relationship-wise, home-wise, literally everything you could think of. And since then, I've been in the deepest hole mentally that I've probably ever been in my entire life. And I've been isolated so much so that social media was literally my only companion. And I honestly couldn't have chosen a worse friend. So I would go on social media and scroll for hours and hours and see people who seemingly have their whole lives figured out. Postings of engagements, traveling, baby announcements, weddings, career advancements, basically everything I did not need to see at the time. And it was all so toxic for me because I became bitter and angry, not so much at the people I would see, but at myself. And I would look at myself and see how I failed in different areas, and it kept dragging me down. And I became so depressed and unhappy with myself, it was sickening. But in this moment, even though I'm still a bit hard on myself, I've grown enough to recognize that comparing myself to others was me failing myself. So if you're anything like me, hopefully not, but if you're experiencing any situation where you compare yourself with others, here's what I want you to know. The only person you should be comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Focus on your progress, your growth, and your own personal goals. Celebrate your unique journey and avoid falling into the trap of comparing yourself to others. It's also important to surround yourself with positive influences. And it's definitely something that I should have done and probably still need to do. Seek out relationships and communities that uplift and support you. Surrounding yourself with people who love and accept you for who you are will help reinforce that positive space where your self-love can blossom. These individuals can serve as a little boost to your inherent value and provide the encouragement you need on your journey of self-acceptance. Even though surrounding yourself with positive people is always a benefit, I need you to know your self-worth does not rely on anyone's opinion of you. You are worthy because of who you are, plain and simple. Sometimes when we don't value ourselves, we end up choosing the wrong people to hang around with or even date. When you don't see your self-worth, you open yourself up to being with people who also don't see how valuable and unique you are. And people like that can really crush your spirit because you rely on them to show you the type of love and care that you desperately seek, that honestly you should be showing yourself. But people who don't see your value will never be able to give you the love, care, and support that you truly deserve. And on this self-healing and self-love journey, you don't need that type of energy around you. You deserve so much more in this life. Listen, it's all about you, and I'm living for it. So here's my final thought. Practice gratitude. A little gratitude goes a long way. Take time each day to reflect on the things you appreciate about yourself, your strengths, your achievements. I need you to know how amazing and wonderful and spectacular you are. All the things you have gone through or you're going through, the mistakes you've made, the rejections, none of these diminish how amazing you are. There is so much about yourself you can be grateful for. Even just being able to get out from bed on days where you feel like you can't. That is a great achievement. How about this? When you're feeling really deflated and disappointed in yourself, take a minute. Write down at least 5 things about yourself that you are proud of or that you really like. And just think about these things. Reflect on them or these moments that bring you self-satisfaction. And try to focus on these things. Remember, it's a journey, and it's the little steps you take that will ultimately lead you to where you need to be. By focusing on the positive aspects of your life, you can cultivate a sense of gratitude and foster self-acceptance. Remember, accepting yourself and knowing your worth is not an overnight process. It takes time, effort, and a lot of patience. But as we embark on this journey together, trust in your own capabilities and believe that you are deserving of love, respect, and acceptance, both from others, but most importantly, from yourself. Well, that's all for today's episode on Becoming Me Again, The Journey. I hope this episode shed some light on the importance of accepting ourselves and knowing our worth. Remember, you're unique, valuable, and worthy of love and acceptance, just as you are, raw and authentically you. Tune in next week for another episode where we delve deeper into the journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Until then, embrace yourself and remember to always be kind to yourself. Stay blessed.